Hey, what's up? It's the normal playing guy, and the next verses we have were two easy A's that came out. A bit conscientious, one came out way after the other, but nonetheless, same sort of campaign. We have Int LR Zamasu and Int LR Vegeta and Trunks. These two. They're absolutely insane, so we'll have a quick look and see what they do. When they first came out, it was probably broken. One of the few units who could stand their own against Cell Max. Still can to this day, of course. Obviously, they have dropped off a little bit because as the years go on, the age, the stats just kind of drop off. So this is a very much welcome easy A from not that long of a unit. And then, of course, here we go. So previously, this is what they had on screen. We'll just quickly run through it. 2 keys, 70%, and guard for the first few turns. But you had 140%, and then additionals that gave you additional super attack. For every attack you received, you gain defense and key and crit chance, for which your super attack gave you stats. So fair enough. And you stacked as well, by the way. So again, pretty good. Once you built up and you had a few stacks, really good. But now we have, by the way, the lead skill. The only thing that's different is you get one key for this bit. That's fine. But now it's been dialed up a bit. 7 key, 100% defense for the first 5 turns, dialed up with a bit more key. Damage reduction 10%, and randomly changes key spheres to from not int to rainbow for the first 3 turns. So that's pretty good. So dial up a bit. You do get remains the key, but you get an additional attack and defense, so it goes rounds up to 200. Guaranteed guard, additional damage rate of 20% damage reduction, so that's 30% for the first 5 turns. And this time, instead of having the additional with a 30% chance to super, it's now a 70% chance to super, for which they still, it still stacks, but this time your 12 key, rather than stacking, it's a 50% buff for the turn, but your 18 key does indeed still stack, for which your allies also appear to get 5%, which is interesting. Yeah, so it's just dial up a bit more. This is totally new. With 18 key, you have an additional super attack, for which again, you get your stack, then you get your raise, and then potentially you can get another one, right? So that's nice. When your active skill, when you use an active skill, or when key is 24, bond of parent allies get 30% defense. Not actually, it's pretty good because again, you'll likely run it with this particular team, right? Every attack received, you now go up to 10 key. Your attack, actually that's kind of new because it's usually it's defense, but now your defense goes up to 150 and you get some extra attack. But this time your crit also goes up to 50. Previously it was 35. Yeah, again, so it's double the key, a little bit extra defense, but the attack is totally brand new, so that's pretty nice. First attacker in a turn, so that just means slot 1 you get 200% damage reduction and no 200% to stats. Well, not damage reduction, and an additional 30% for your first 5 turns. That's going to be what? So 60% for the first 5 turns. When that disappears, you have your basic 20 plus this, so you're still coming out with 50% damage reduction with triple the starting stats for your attack and defense. For which you have another one with guard. So again, a lot of starting stats, a lot of damage mitigation. Pretty good, right? Versus Zamasu, who went up from 150 to 170, by the way. So he initially got 1 key per key sphere, which is really, really good. He had 100%, damage rate 20%, huge amount of stats on 12 key, and again, same again. His 50% for both attack and 12 and 18 key, 50% raise to both stats. He guaranteed an additional, and it was super easy for him to get 18 key, so you would go from 0 to hero exceptionally quick. Super effective against all types, really nice. And again, just helps with his damage. Damage was 2% within the turn for every attack received, considering he had 20%. The 2% wasn't really much, but I guess it was something. Every attacks in battle give you every 5 attacks get you a key, which again you could realistically use because he had damage reduction. And then, of course, he can also heal after so many attacks. And a bit on the rare side, because it's an unarmed super attack, we have a 70% chance to counter it, right? But now he's dialed up a little bit more. So there we go from there, and we go to here. So he still has his one keeper key sphere, and this one he changes tech to rainbow. Interesting. I still one keeper key sphere obtained. Still randomly changes this time to int. Very nice. Means he's just so easily going to get 24 key. 200%, so it's double the start of turn stats, with a slightly dialed up 30% damage reduction. Now, instead of having an additional super attack, you now get bonus stats. Where instead of 18 or more key, which made you launch the additional super attack, you now get more stats and super effective. And with 24 key, instead of having super effective, you are guaranteed crit and even more stats. And considering that he's an int orb changer and he gets one key per key sphere obtained, which means int counts for 3, it's really not difficult. You'll need 6 in order to max this out, and it's fairly reasonable with rainbow changing as well to actually get that. And this is with no links prior. So he's going to have 200% plus 50 plus 50 plus 100. And it's 100 as well. It's not like it's an additional 50. And suddenly your start of turn stats, honestly, your start of turn defense is going to be like 300,000, 400,000, something like that. And I'm not, I kid you not, by the way, this guy is going to hit 40 million. And again, if you got in rainbow with links, might eke out a little bit more. He is an offensive beast, that's for sure. For every attack received or dodged, which is interesting that you mentioned dodge because it's not really his thing, you get an additional 10%. So right, it goes from 2% to 10, and that goes up to 30. So after a couple of hits, you'll go from 30% damage reduction to 60% damage reduction. So maybe that first hit, especially if it's a super attack, might hurt a lot. But for sure, when you keep getting 10% damage reduction, you're gonna. There's not much that's gonna phase him. One key up to 5 as well, so that's great. From five received attacks to 3, or when you dodge 3, you recover 10%. So it's gone down by some. Again, still 70% chance to counter, but this time apparently you counter with power with 10 or more key spheres obtained. So, okay, so it's kind of a number. Right. So you're guaranteed to counter it and straight up nullify it with 10 or more key spheres obtained. 10. The problem with that is unarmed super attacks a little on the rare side, right? So it's just fisty attacks. I mean, it's guaranteed if you get 10. I mean, if it was 10 or more key spheres and you can stop any super attack or even something like blast attacks, which is more relevant, that might make more sense. But that's a little hard to get for something that's very rare. But on the other side, it does straight up nullify it, should you ever be in that situation. Let's see, rather than having 50% to stats, we now greatly stack attack, massively raises that's a 100% defense raise for the turn. Massively stacks attack and greatly raises defense for the turn. So, your 18 key is going to massively stack, considering that, yeah, that's what I mean, he's an offensive beast. And then you get your 50% raise, your additional super attack might give you a 100% raise to your defense, right? This dude's an absolute beast. Kind of makes this guy seem like a bit of a chump change, but there's no doubt though that this guy builds up a little bit better and is going to be good because bear in mind 200% with well, if you ignore this little bit first, right, you're going to have what 20% plus, so you're going to have 50% damage reduction. You have 200%, you're guaranteed an additional, you still raise stats for the turn, so that's something, and you do build up additional defense, so you have an attack. So again, that's not so bad. So 200 plus 150 plus your 50. Plus, I suppose you could say he gets an extra 100%. With this guy, he gets 200, he gets 50, 50, 100. It all kind of balances out. This guy only has 30% damage reduction, can go to 60. Yeah, it all balances out. I know this guy can hit somewhere in the 20 to 35 million range, right? And this guy is going to be hitting much, much harder. And perhaps where he really shines the most is it's going to be big bad bosses. And considering that the new LR is extremely powerful, then yeah, it's quite good. Bear in mind there are other reasonable units, super easy A's, are they not? Or is it just an easy A? Can't remember. Even this one still holds up. This guy is still an absolute beast. And yeah, oh, and hell, even the STR version as well is actually still really good. So again, this particular unit, like this one stacks, super easy A, still a solid unit. Yeah, I can see why statistically this team is going to be bonkers. But again, this team, it works really well with the new Goku. So again, I can see a hell of a lot of use out of that. Right? Yeah, that's the new Goku, right? We know that this guy is pretty good with his EZA. Not so bad LR. And I mean, these are anniversary units, and they do pretty well in stacking, right? Couple of easy A's here needed, and perhaps yes, but there's still a lot of really good units. The new one coming out soon. This guy who is bonkers, right? So again, depending on your team, it's going to work really well. I still think that this guy's got it in the bag personally, but there you go. That's kind of the best one, really, I would say. Anyway, enough of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and leave a like if you wish. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and bye-bye.